welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a meet my pets. I thought I would do this, I was thinking I should have done this like as my first video, so you could like meet all my animals and my horses and stuff before, but I decided, I sort of forgot. So I'm doing it now. So I'm going to be going through all my pets. I have quite a few, more than the average person. I have 10 pets. And I also have livestock such as sheep and chickens, which I don't really class as pets, but I will be like sort of showing a few photos of them and stuff at the end of this video. So yeah, without further ado, let's meet my animals. So we are going to be starting off with the one and only Twinks, who I've owned for 4.5 years. I bought her on the 13th of November 2020. So Twinks is a full Connemara. She's 14 hands and she's turning 16 this year. We're actually not sure like when her birthday exactly is because it's not in her passport for some reason. But yeah, as you can see from these videos, Twinks absolutely loves cross country and show jumping. She, over the years, we've competed and we have won 6 championships. So we've won all the championships that we've competed in. And then, so in 2023, me and Twinks competed at Royal Cheshire Show. We competed in the 60 and the 70. And we got placed 5th in both out of a massive class of about 35 in both. And oh my god, that day it was an absolutely horrible rainy day, but we smashed it. And honestly, she was just amazing. So yeah, but like you would have seen from the other videos, she also loves cross country. We love going out to Kelsall, Somerford and Smallwood. My last video was a trip out to Smallwood and we're actually going in a few weeks. Sorry if you hear my stomach then. Anyway, so yeah, we actually have tried to compete cross country once, but basically what I do is I hold my breath and I don't even know why I do it. I just do. I don't realise. And for a 40-second to a minute show jumping, that's fine. You can get away with it. But for a 4 to 5 minute cross country, I cannot hold my breath for that long. And I tried to keep going, and Twinks went absolutely not. She actually planted, and she wouldn't go any further because she could tell I was like, holding my breath and I couldn't breathe. So we actually ended up having to retire about halfway around the course, and I had to get in the ambulance, which I just couldn't be bothered with. And yeah, but as much as Twinks probably pretends that she doesn't like flat work, I think she secretly does, because she can be a right little dressage diva sometimes when she wants to. I mean, obviously she's not going to be doing top level elementary, not that high, but she's not going to be doing elementary anytime soon, I'll tell you that. But she can do the basics and she can do them nicely, which obviously we all know how important it is for having good flat work for jumping. And she's improved so much since I bought her. When we first bought her, she had the muscle was on the wrong side of her neck, so it was on the bottom instead of having a nice muscly top line. And she was just awful basically. So the last few years we have been working so hard to get her where she is now, and she honestly is just going so well. But honestly, Twinks is just my best friend. She's always been there for me. When I was ill a few years ago, I was just about to go into hospital again. I didn't realise. And she just knew I wasn't well. I was sat in my stable and she would not leave me alone. She was like, she could just tell I wasn't well. And then unfortunately in January I got admitted into hospital for 9.5 weeks. So yeah, it's fun. And when I came out, honestly, for my first ride and stuff and my first jumping back, as much as she loves jumping and she was very excited, she looked after me so much. And yeah, for the last few months of me getting back into riding, she has honestly looked after me so well. Unlike Champ, who we will get on to next. Yeah, she knows how to look after me, and she knows when there's something not right, like I said, with the cross country and stuff. So I just love her. I honestly do. She's my heart horse. And yeah, So we are now going to be talking about Champ, who is actually in this photo, so a nice little crossover. So Champ is a 9-year-old full Connemara who's around 15'1", 15'2". We actually haven't measured him in a really, really long time. Last time we measured him, he was 14'3", but he has grown so much, like that was years and years ago. But when we bought him, he was 3 years old, about to turn 4. We bought him just as a project, basically. He'd done the basics, so he could do walk and trot and canter with people on him. He had never jumped. He'd gone over like a tiny little, it was a cross, but in the middle of it was basically like a raised pole, basically. And bless him, I remember my first ever canter on him. I started I picked up canter in the corner and we just slowly drifted into the middle of the arena. We ended up on the other side of the arena. And we just gone straight through the middle, like a leg eel, basically. We basically leg eeled across the middle of the arena because he had no balance. But yeah, so he was meant to be a project, and we have actually now had him for 6 years. So, like most people, we fell in love with him. And due to a few other reasons with Jester, we actually bought him because Jester had been out of work so much. But we'll get onto that when we talk about Jester. And because of Jester, keeping him being out of work, we decided actually to just keep him. And then COVID happened, and I don't know, we just never got round to selling him. So now we still have him. But yeah, so Champ is definitely not the easiest of horses. He was very easy to break in. We know that because we actually watched him get broken in because we were on a breaker's yard. And then we saw him and we were like, oh, actually, he could be a nice project. So he was very easy to break in, honestly. He just didn't care whatsoever. So anyway, my mum started producing him. At the time, he was never bought for me, so I wasn't as involved. I obviously rode him here and there. But my mum took him to a few shows and we soon realised he was bonkers. So yeah, we took him to some in-hand classes and my mum did them with him. I was with my old pony Rosie, and he was interesting. He would be rearing, spinning round, neighing a lot, just being very, very giddy. He did, do very well in the classes because he was so gorgeous. But yeah, unfortunately, his time competing was cut very, very short due to COVID, it was, so he didn't compete for about 2-3 years. Which was just a nightmare because that's such a crucial time at that age, like 4 or 5, it's such a crucial age for them to be getting out and seeing the world and stuff like that, and unfortunately he missed out on that. But around this time in COVID, I started teaching him how to jump. Now my mum used to jump back in the day, but she doesn't anymore, so I just jump all the horses. So I started teaching him how to jump, and when I first started teaching him, I taught him on the lunge, and oh my god, I very quickly realised how much of a good jump he had. He was amazing. I'll find a photo of him as first ever, maybe not the first ever, but a photo of his one of his first time jumping on the lunge, and I soon realised that he would be quite a good jumping horse. But unfortunately, how do I put it? He likes it a bit too much, to the point where he can get a little bit dangerous in a way, in the sense of he sort of just bolts at the jump and he's like, oh my god, a jump, and he's like flying round. Whereas Twinks, she loves her jumping, but she's very calm, collected, she's sensible. Well, maybe not her first jump back after being off, but Champ, he's a bit crazy, but honestly I love him. He loves it. Obviously you can see from the videos he loves it. But when I try and take him out, so we actually did do a bit of combine training and stuff. We got reserve champion in that, and then he had a bit of time off because I don't know, I just wasn't competing him that year. My mum wasn't competing him, and then I think I was going to start compete, because basically last year Twinks was out of work, and for some reason, because Twinks was out of work, I sort of lost my confidence a bit. Because Twinks wasn't there to give me that boost of confidence to then get on Champ and stuff like that. I don't know how it works. It just, as soon as Twinks was out of work, I couldn't ride anything. Anyway, so I then got my confidence back. I started jumping him, started taking him out again. He was a bit crazy here and there. We tried to take him to a show, and he bolted up the centre line of the dressage arena, reared, and before that he was absolutely flying around the what's it called, the warm-up arena. He was bombing flat out. He's a blind bolter, basically, and if you don't know what that is, it's where they just don't give you any warning, they just go. So yeah, he's a blind bolter, and we did know this, but we didn't think he'd, well, I don't know, he's done it quite a lot, unfortunately. But yeah, so after all this time off, unfortunately, he didn't take it very well. Twinks, you know, you can just take her straight out after being not going out for about a year. She'll be fine, wouldn't even notice. Champ, unfortunately, he gets very overwhelmed and he gets very excited and he doesn't listen, and that's why I've never actually jumped him that big. The highest I've jumped him is 1 metre to 1.5 metre, which I know for some people is big, but I know he can jump a lot bigger. But unfortunately, because of how he just sometimes doesn't listen to me, it'd be very dangerous to take him round to a jump and like jumping that big. And I don't know, I've just never really been bothered about jumping him big, because at the end of the day, jumping big doesn't prove anything and there's no need for him to. So yeah, I have taken him out a few times. You know, obviously I've had more times of him being good than, you know, sort of naughty. But unfortunately at the moment I have lost my confidence again on him. He's one of them horses where I do lose my confidence quite easily just because of his jumping. He sort of, basically what makes it hard for him to jump him is that he will see a jump, lock onto it, be like, right, I'm going, you'll get to the jump, and he will plant and he'll go, actually no, that's a bit scary. He's not bothered about height or anything like that. It tends to be fillers, or if he's actually getting distracted by a friend or something like that. It's you know, so yeah, I've currently lost my confidence on him because I was, like I said, I was in hospital and I haven't got my full strength back, and I just can't really be riding him. Oh, sorry about my stomach. I tried to jump him the other day and he was a bit excited, did a few bounces, and I was like, I don't have the confidence to try and, you know, and the strength, I don't have the core muscle, the leg muscle to try and fight through this. So, yeah, my friend actually jumped him the other day for me, and then I got on, and I just popped a few cross poles and straight, and, you know, I felt really good about that. So I'm just going to, you know, work really slowly, do some grids and get my confidence back on him, and just, you know, because I do love jumping him. You know, it's just one of them things. I will get it back, I know I will, because I always do. And he just loves jumping. As much as, you know, when he plants, he doesn't mean it in a nasty way. Like, he doesn't mean it in a I don't like jumping way. It's just sometimes he gets distracted, or, you know, a jump filler although he has got a lot better with jump fillers. But yeah, I still love him, and I'm going to get my confidence up, and as soon as I feel comfortable to, you know, take him out, I'm going to get him out and I'm going to jump him and take him cross country because he loves it. So yeah, that is all about Champ. We are now going to move on to Jester Bay. So we are now moving on to Jester Bay, who is a 16-3 thoroughbred cross warm blood, and he is now 19 years old. So he's an old boy, but, you know, he's young at heart, bless him. So we bought Jester 11 years ago when he was 8 for my mum. So he was sold as a dressage horse. He was meant to be an eventer, but he is a little bit too spooky for that. So yeah, he was sold as a dressage horse, which is what my mum wanted to do, and she competed him very high in dressage. She went to all the championships and all the top dressage things. I'm not really sure because I don't do dressage, but she did really, really well with him and stuff, and he's won loads. But unfortunately, Jester, if anyone owns a thoroughbred or a warm blood or, you know, a cross, you know how easily that type of horse will break. So unfortunately, Jester actually did his suspensory ligaments. So he was out of work for a very long time. And yeah, he was brought back into work, and, you know, he was back in work, and then all of a sudden, not long after, he broke his pedal bone, which is in the side of the hoof, it was a whole long process of it growing from the inside out, the hoof back. And he was out of work for such a long time. I can't even remember how long, but it was a very long time, bless him. He was in box rest for a very long time, and he the only place he went was from one stable to the one next to it, so he had a little bit of a different view. Bless. So anyway, yeah. So after all that, he came back into work, and he was, he was back in work, and we then moved to a different yard. The yard we had him on was actually the place where he was born, up in Lyme Park. Bless him. He was when we bought him, we moved him onto the yard that we had my other pony on, and he did not settle whatsoever. We weren't on there for very long, and then we decided to move him onto the yard that we bought him off. So we moved on there, and we were on there for 6.5 years. 6 years. Not that long. 4 years. But unfortunately, that's actually closed now. So we moved him to Adlington, and we were on there for 4 years, and it took him a long time to settle, but he did eventually. And yes, so even though we've had him for so long, I've actually only ridden him. We've had him 11 years, but I've only actually been riding him for 4.5 years, because he used to be a bit wild, and he used to be extremely sharp, which, to be honest, a lot of people who know him now will be watching this video thinking, no, he's not a sharp horse, because he, honestly, I'll get onto that a bit later, he's a dope now, but honestly, he used to be crazy. We don't really know why. He was just a very hot-headed horse. He was a thoroughbred, cross-warm blood, he loved his work, and he was just, but he was extremely spooky. When he spooked, he didn't just do it small, he had to make a whole massive drama out of it. So I was only 6 when we bought him, and I had literally no confidence whatsoever. I didn't have confidence up until about a teenager. So yeah, I've only actually been riding him for 4.5 years, and now, obviously he was a dressage horse, and he only did dressage up until, someone on the yard did jump him every so often for us, but not really, because obviously he was out of work and he couldn't really jump when he came back into work. But around 2022, I started to jump him, and not long after I started riding him, I started to jump him, and he absolutely loves his jumping. Honestly, it's a shame that he couldn't have been an eventer, but the cross country jumps, he couldn't have done them. So I started jumping him, and the first time I ever jumped him, he didn't even, like most horses, if they've not jumped for a very long time and they love jumping, they'd be like getting excited and stuff. He did the most calmest canter. He popped over the jump, cantered away like calmly. He did not care. He does love jumping, but he is just such a calm horse, and he just, he's not as much as I said, he's a bit spicy and a bit, when it comes to that kind of thing, he will behave. Like, he doesn't misbehave and that kind of thing. So I actually achieved my biggest dream, thanks to Jester, which was to jump 1.20 meters. So I'll put a photo up now. I jumped 1.20 meters. My position wasn't the best. I wasn't expecting him to go over it. I was sort of doing a bit of a chase with Charlie. And we got up to 1.20 meters, which I have not jumped since that day. That was quite a few years ago. I've only jumped him, I don't know, since then. I think I've only ever jumped him like to 1.5 meters, because he has been out of work again. Due to different things, pulling shoes off, the occasional just random lameness. He had a cold last year, which we thought was strangled actually at one point, but he had a cold last year, which took him out of work, and knocked him out, which took him out of work for about 3 or 4 weeks. He was so ill, bless him. There was no way. He had massive clumps of snot coming out of his nose. Honestly, it was awful. Anyway, so yeah, when he also put his foot over a electric fence, and sliced it open like you do. Anyway, so when we moved yards again, because Adlington, the place where we were, has closed down, which if you go back a few videos, I actually filmed my moving, and oh my god, when we moved on to this yard, I wish we did it sooner. He has changed so much. He is a different horse. He is calm, he is, he doesn't spook, he's just all round a happier horse, and I actually wish we moved him before, because honestly, a different horse, and that's why I said no one will believe what he used to be like, because, you know, they'll look at him now and think, well, that's not the horse that is at our yard. But honestly, yeah. So he just does a bit of hacking, he hacks around the fields, and he does a jumper occasionally. Sometimes he does a bit of flat work, but we don't like to push him anymore because he is getting a bit older, and, you know, after all the things he's been through, it's really nice for him to just be able to chill and just walk around the fields with my mum, because my mum's happy just doing that on him now. Champ is now her main horse. As much as he was meant to be a project, like I said, he's now her main horse, and Jester just, you know, I get on him and jump him, and then my mum gets on him, hacks him, and yeah, he just has a really chilled life, and he honestly loves it so much. But for such a big horse, which, even though he is 16.3, his wither is quite high, and due to him being out of work, unfortunately, he has lost a lot of muscle. So he has got a bit of a, like, not dipped back, but, you know, you'll probably see from the videos, but he is getting his muscle up now. He's actually looking a lot better. I haven't got a photo of him recently of what he's looking like, but he's looking a lot better. He lost most of the muscle when he had his cold and stuff, because then we moved, and then we went on holiday, and then we moved, and he just wasn't in proper work. So for a long time he wasn't in proper work, and for him, you know, to get muscle back, unlike the younger ones, it's a bit harder for him, bless him. But for such a big horse, he is the most gentle and kind horse. Even when, you know, back in the day, you could just go cuddle with him, he'd enjoy a bath, he'd enjoy a good brush, you know, you could fuss over him, he absolutely loves it. And he's actually on the end stable, like where most people walk past, and everyone, when they walk past, just gives him like a good scratch and a cuddle, and just everyone loves him. He likes to nosy out, but yeah, so yeah, Jester is the type of horse, because I was saying about bringing him back into work and stuff, there was many times where we thought Jester was not going to be able to come back into work due to him having all these problems, and we were like, oh my god, I'm surprised this horse hasn't had to be put down, which sounds a bit far, but honestly, it just, you know. But he is the type of horse where he'll just never be able to be retired, because when he has been out of work in the past due to different reasons, he goes off his food and he won't eat. He eats like hay and grass, but he won't eat his hard feed, which he needs because he has joint supplement and stuff. He also had time off last year because he had to have steroids injected into his hocks and his back because of his old age. Oh, honestly, poor lad. You can't catch a break. So that's another reason why he was out of work last year, and that's why he's lost quite a lot of muscle, like I said. But yeah, me and my mum were saying he's the type of horse that he's going to have to keep going until he's basically dead, because if you retire him, he will be bored, he will be unhappy, he will go off his food. So, you know, he's just going to keep ticking over, doing some hacking, jumping every so often. We don't like to jump him as often as we used to because, you know, we need to watch his legs and stuff. Yeah, that is it for Jester. So I'm actually going to do 2 parts of this video because this is already quite a long video. So the rest of my pets, I don't have as much to say about them, to be honest. So that will be in the next part. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. And I'll see you all in the next part. Bye.